Recently, I found myself in the situation where I'm trying to solve a puzzle, spend quite a bit of time on it, and don't have the answer. And finally, I go back to the drawing board and I ask myself, did I miss any candidate moves? And then I immediately get the answer. So I'm going to share with you one such puzzle. When I saw this, of course, we know it's all about this exposed white king. And of course, we're very interested in that square, which the rook is currently controlling. So naturally, it's like this could be the move or the rook exchange first, right? So there's also one more check, queen e2, which you sort of feel is not really on the right track because you're not adding more attackers and you're basically going further away from like these ideas which seem to be key, right? So why would you want to like push the king away out of that fork? So I start calculating rook takes d4. Of course, the problem with that is that there's queen h7 and then they take the rook. So now you're not getting the fork on the king or queen. Of course, the attack's not over. This still needs to be looked at, like what's going on here. The king has only one move. Do we have anything? You come here, you're already quite deep into the position, and you're not seeing a winning fork. You're not seeing a winning checkmate. I mean, you have this one, but they have ways out of that, right? Like the knight doesn't have support by anything other than the queen, so the queen's going to be limited in how she can attack. So that doesn't seem to be very clear, right? So when it's that unclear, you sort of try to find something simpler. So then you look at like knight f4. Maybe I can still do this move despite the fact that the rook can take me, because this looks pretty dangerous. The king has to go here, and you can go and win the queen. But unfortunately, it's still not that clear, because even if you win the queen, white has two rooks for the queen, and you just don't really feel confident that you've solved the puzzle, unless you can win one of those rooks. But you really can't, because this rook can always come back to guard any checks. So basically, like some position like this, yeah, you can't assume that just because you won your opponent's queen that you solved the puzzle. They've got two rooks. They're going to block any of these checks with that, and the game goes on, right? So finally, I realized like I'm not making any progress. And I go back and I ask myself, what could I have missed? I mean, I thought I made such an exhaustive uh, list of the checks and captures, right? But actually, I hadn't really looked at the threats. And as soon as I asked myself, I was like, oh, hey, look at that candidate move. That didn't make it on the list. But actually, it's a very poisonous threat of adding this rook into the attack, right? So you see, I had to give up on my beloved intuitive ideas, right? Where I'm like, oh, it must be something to do with that fork. It must be like that rook capture. It's like, no, the first move is not a check. It's not a capture. It's a fairly slow moving move, but yeah, the threat is poisonous. And they don't have a chance to drop the rook back, to stop this. So they don't really have a good answer to this move. The queen check doesn't get them anywhere. You just move away. The knight covers h8. And we're threatening rook e2 followed by rook e3 and just winning their queen. And then when we win the queen, we are going to be keeping the knight. That's the key point. So what can they really do here? I mean, yeah, there's not much. It's like, because depending after this check, it's like you can also bring in your knight to attack them and mate them. It's just like now you're really attacking them with a lot of material. So I think, what it was, like the computer tried this move and then you do that. And then the king runs and then you do that. And the simplest is that you just block with a knight. So you're safe, you win their queen, and you solve the puzzle. So the thing that I'm telling you to try to make a good list of candidate moves is definitely something that I am struggling with myself, right? And I really see how when I ask myself this question, like I just get the answer, right? I could be going like looking at a position for like 10 minutes without seeing the right move. But as soon as I ask the right question, I'm like, oh, that's the answer. So there you go, guys. That's how you do it.